Okay, first of all, Jazakumullah khair for Dr. Saab and for the Al Balagh team for giving me this opportunity. I do feel, mashallah, humbled and privileged as well for attending this first panel discussion I've ever had with Al Balagh. Just to give a bit of a background, alhamdulillah, I've been teaching on Al Balagh Academy since 2018, 2019. I did start off by teaching the Seerah program, the Seerah Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and then in collaboration with Mufti Abrar Sahab, we did design a structured a takhasus iftar course, both catering for men and women. And one of the things what we included was that one of the gaps that we've learned is that although there are many programs in the UK, online and on-site, they do offer iftar programs for brothers and sisters. But I think one of the major gaps that I did find, and I realized with the modern iftar, with contemporary iftar programs, was that there was a lack of exposure for the students to the contemporary knowledge. So, for example, Islamic finance, medical fiqh, family law, and etc., and so on and so forth. And because trying to introduce this contemporary subject is quite challenging in institutes, maybe because of whatever reason it may be, but Al Balagh Academy, alhamdulillah, it's been one of those platforms that what it does, it bridges classical knowledge with contemporary knowledge. And you'll find this being applied across the board in various different subjects. Like, for example, our esteemed Professor Ghulam Rasool Sahab hinted a point where he mentioned is the whole purpose of Islamic psychology is addressing the needs of people through an Islamic perspective. So bridging Islam and science, contemporary science. So it's the same thing with Iftar, is that because a student and a mufti's role is that not only is he just responding to people to the people's needs, but they have to have some kind of awareness of contemporary knowledge of that area, when it comes to Islamic finance, medical fiqh, and etc. And because of that, what it does that it not only makes the fatwa, it not only not makes the fatwa itself, not does it only clarify the Islamic ruling, but it also makes it practical and applicable in the given condition and circumstance. So the first thing is that interesting about Al Balagh Academy, it bridges the gap between classical knowledge with contemporary knowledge, and with the Takhasus Iftar program, alhamdulillah, we have had many students. Inshallah, we'll be having a graduation of the first batch inshallah, in a couple of weeks. And in there, the students have not only studied the Iftar program, but they've also studied various different other subjects, and to give them exposure. That's the first point. The second point, that in Al Balagh Academy, what I found quite interesting was, and I think with Al Balagh Academy, with my experience, is that it's not just catering, but there's a vision. And the vision of that is I've seen is producing serious researchers. So incorporating research with Ifta. So what we have now is that we have students in the final year who are now producing dissertations, and dissertations that are related to contemporary topics, whereby the students need to apply their critical thinking on an extensive level, and application of classical theoretical principles to in modern day context. So we have students, for example, who are discussing matters related to fasakh of nikah, the Islamic dissolution. We have, mashallah, we have certain sisters, appas, who are writing research papers on Islamic medical fiqh or Islamic medicine, for example, and the list obviously can go on. So that's the second thing that I found very beneficial of with Al Balagh Academy. They have a vision of producing researchers, and in the purpose of this research is so that the students have enough skills, knowledge, and the skills to go out there and to do some work. So that's the second. And the third one I would like to add here, and I will end with this inshallah, is that one of the interesting thing about the Al Balagh Academy, it also incorporates spirituality, because the goal and the maqsad, the whole goal and the maqsad of Al Balagh Academy is, number one, is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and foremost, and to guide people. So there's an element of spirituality. It's not only academically oriented, but it's also important that we recognize the functional role of spirituality, because what spirituality offers is the tarbiyat process. So we have the academic, which equips students with the knowledge, and we have the spirituality element, which gives the tarbiyah. So combination of both knowledge as well as spiritual training. So this is the summary of my experience. Alhamdulillah. And just as a side note here as well, that one of my master's research, I think is important. I do address this, and this is important. That one of my master's research that I delivered, I completed last year, was exploring the pedagogical approach of modern day iftar training. So this falls within education. It's never been looked into. And one of the pedagogical principles that I have discovered within iftar training, and classical as well as looking at the contemporary social on the social perspective, is that spirituality plays a very central role when it comes to development of classical jurists. So if you look at the works of the classical jurists, they were not only just great thinkers, intellectuals in their own right, but they were also spiritual. They were spiritual in their own right, and they had spiritual mentors. So, Alhamdulillah, this is something that we too intend to, Alhamdulillah, Balagh offers. And that's all to mention myself, inshallah.